Hey, we're getting ready to ferment some peppers to make some hot sauce. It's not going to be real hot. I'm just using 3 jalapeno peppers. And we're going to give this a try, and I've never tried the lids before. Ken over at Heavy Metal Barbecue inspired me to try these lids, so I'm giving them a try. Now, I have made some test runs and they turned out great, but we're going to do this one on camera and see how it works. I'm going to make some hot sauce here. Hey, be sure to stop by and see Ken at Heavy Metal Barbecue and check it out. You'll be glad you did. So let's get started. I have sweet peppers here, jalapenos. Got my onion, garlic, my glass weight, and 2 different lids here, but I'm going to be using the red one. So now let's get this onion sliced in half. Not quite half of it, almost. And we'll get this peeled off, and we're going to dice it up and place it in the bottom of the jar. Now, it don't have to be perfect, but I slice them thin, which will help them ferment a little faster, I believe. Now we'll place these in the bottom of the jar. Now you want to make sure everything's washed and clean. Wash your vegetables, wash your jars, your lids you're using. Make sure everything's clean. Now you can use gloves if you like. I wash my hands constantly. They're clean. I will put on gloves when I go to cutting the jalapenos. So this will have to be something I'll try through trial and error to see what I like the best. Now these peppers here are a sweet pepper. They taste absolutely delicious. And I thought they would go nice in there for a little color, and we'll see what kind of taste it gives this hot sauce. So we'll get these peppers all sliced up, get them in there. We'll layer these here next, and then we'll do the jalapenos. Now these little peppers, they don't have very many seeds in it. They're right up there by the stem, and basically the rest of it kind of looks hollow. And I pack them in there pretty good, get them packed down in there pretty tight. Okay, now it's time to get these jalapenos in there. Got my gloves on. Like I said, I've washed all the vegetables here, all the peppers, so we'll get these cut in half. And I'm going to get out the seeds. I'm going to leave some of the membrane, not all of it. We're going to try this in steps. The next batch I'll make maybe go a little different. Okay, we've got the seed out of them. Now we're just going to slice up these halves and place them in the jars, and then we're going to add some garlic. And now we'll put these in there, and I'll push it down. I want to pack it in there as good as I can. It don't have to be real tight, but pack it in. Now we're going to place some garlic cloves in there. We'll get them cleaned up here and place them in the jar. Let's speed it up a bit. Now we're going to figure out how much salt we need, and I'm going to use sea salt. So we got to weigh our vegetables and the liquid, the water to be going in there. So I put an empty jar of the same on the scales, and then I tare it, bring it to 0, then I set my jar with the vegetables in it and weigh it, and then we add water also to see what the total weight is. Now you can use between 2 and 3% of the weight of the vegetables and the liquid for your salt. And I use about 2 to 2.5%. I'm going to use 2.5%. And you'll take this total weight, which it comes out to 696 grams. So we're going to times it by 2.5%, which makes it 17.4 grams of salt. So you can round it off to 18 or 17, whichever you prefer. Now the total weight when I add the salt, it will be 713 grams. And there we have it. I added 17 grams of salt. So now we're going to top it off with a little bit more water. And I used distilled water in this. You can use distilled or purified water, I believe. They say not to use chlorinated water. And we put a regular lid on it. We just moved the jar back and forth, mixing up the salt and the water and the vegetables together there. Now we move the scales out of the way. And we'll top it off with a little more water to make sure we get the brine over the top of the vegetables. Now I'm going to place a piece of washed perforated plastic that I cut out into this jar to set the weight on, and it'll keep the vegetables down below underneath the top of the brine so no air makes contact with them. So we'll get that set in there, and then I'm going to place a glass weight on top of it. Now we're going to add just a little bit more water. Make sure we have plenty in there, which I believe we already do, but we're going to add just a touch. Now we'll get the lid on here, and as it ferments, it's going to build some gas, and it's going to release that gas. And it won't allow air back into the jar, which you don't want air in it. So that'll stop air from coming back in also. Now you can let it ferment for 4 days, a week, 14 days, whatever you'd like. Some go a month and longer. I'm going to try 7 days, I believe. Well, this is 6 days right here. You can see the jalapeno color has changed. The peppers have changed in there, the onions. The liquid is cloudy. It means it's fermenting, it's doing its job. And you can see the weight has shifted due to the lack of vegetables in there, but it's all into the brine and it's going to do fine. And the lids have a little indicator. You can even set it on the day you started this fermenting. Well, be sure to watch the next video. I'm going to make some hot sauce out of this, and we're going to see what 7 days fermenting tastes like.